Imagine this. You stand in a room, surrounded by laughter and easy camaraderie, yet you are an island. You are not disliked. In fact, people speak highly of you. They describe you as capable, reliable, and strong. But you notice a subtle distance, a quiet reverence that feels more like a barrier than a bridge. They seek your counsel, not your company. They trust your judgment, but they do not invite you into their confidences. You command the room, yet you are never truly in it. This is the paradox of the respected but unloved, a position of quiet power and profound isolation. Why is it that some individuals forge bonds of effortless affection, while you accumulate a currency of sober esteem? Is it a failure of warmth, a surplus of seriousness, or something far more deliberate? We are taught to crave being liked, to seek the warm glow of social acceptance. But what if the deeper, more formidable power lies in cultivating a respect that operates on a different frequency altogether? A respect that is not a consolation prize for a lack of charm, but a conscious architecture of character, so solid it becomes your most undeniable trait. This is not about becoming cold or unapproachable. This is about understanding the hidden alchemy that compels people to hold you in a regard that is less fickle than affection and far more powerful. What is the price of this elevated standing, and what invisible forces separate the warmly liked from the deeply revered? The answer begins with a force you feel every day, but may never have named. The chasm between being liked and being revered is not an accident of personality. It is the direct result of a silent war between two fundamental human impulses, the herd instinct and the will to individuality. The German philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche pierced the heart of this, observing that the individual has always had to struggle to keep from being overwhelmed by the tribe. To be liked is to be safe within the herd. It requires conformity, the smoothing of edges, the suppression of any trait that might cause social friction. Your laughter must match theirs. Your opinions must not disrupt the collective comfort. But respect? Respect is forged in the moments you dare to stand apart. It is the psychological reward we give to those who uphold a standard, even an uncomfortable one. Carl Jung would argue that this demands a confrontation with your own shadow, the integration of the disciplined, principled, and often uncompromising parts of yourself that social niceties demand you hide. When you prioritize being agreeable, you make yourself a reflection of others' desires. You become psychologically weightless. But when you anchor your identity in a code, when your yes means yes and your no means no, regardless of popularity, you manifest a gravitational pull. You are no longer a mirror, but a monument. This is the hidden problem. We are culturally conditioned to seek the warm, fleeting currency of affection, while the cold, hard capital of respect is minted in the solitary furnace of unwavering self-possession. But this choice has consequences that ripple far deeper than you realize. If this dissection of the psychological roots of respect resonates with you, subscribe for more. I want to hear your thoughts. What has this tension cost you? Let me know in the comments. This silent preference for respect over likability does not exist in a vacuum. It sends ripples through the very fabric of your reality, with consequences both profound and unsettling. The most immediate is a psychological tax, the loneliness of command. You become a psychological landmark for others, a fixed point in their social navigation, but landmarks are visited, not inhabited. Your consistency becomes a mirror in which others see their own inconsistency, and this can breed a subtle, unspoken resentment. They will rely on your strength, while secretly wishing you would stumble, just to feel the comfort of your shared humanity. This dynamic is amplified by cognitive biases like the halo effect, where your competence in one area bleeds into a perception of overall formidability, making you seem less approachable for trivial joys. You are conditioned into the role of the judge, not the fellow traveler. Societally, this creates a hierarchy not of bloodline or wealth, but of perceived integrity, a lonely pinnacle. The French existentialist Jean-Paul Sartre saw this in the gaze of the other, which objectifies and defines us. When people respect you more than they like you, their gaze solidifies you into a symbol of a principle, freezing you in a role from which any emotional faltering feels like a betrayal. You are trapped in the very authority you worked to build, a prisoner of the esteem you so carefully cultivated. But what if this prison has a key? What if the rebellion isn't about becoming more likable, but about transcending the dichotomy entirely? The rebellion begins not with a change in strategy, but with a seismic shift in intention. You must stop seeking either affection or esteem from the external world, and instead become a source of unshakable internal validation. This is the counterintuitive core. The deepest respect is not demanded, but magnetized when you are fully aligned with your own purpose. The goal is not to be stoic or unfeeling, but to be so grounded in your own principles that your presence carries an inherent weight. Think of historical figures like Viktor Frankl, who, in the depths of a concentration camp, realized that the last of human freedoms is to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances. His power came from a meaning that was immune to external approval or disapproval. This is your model. Start by making decisions based on integrity, not reception. Deliver on your word with ruthless consistency, not for praise, but because your word is your identity. Offer truth, even when it is unwelcome, not to be harsh, but because you respect the other person's capacity to handle reality more than you desire their momentary comfort. This is not about being rude. It is about being real. You dissolve the old paradigm by becoming a force of nature, predictable in your values, unpredictable in your insights, and utterly indifferent to the social rewards of conformity. You command respect by embodying a truth that is larger than the petty gains of social climbing. But this leads to one final, ultimate truth that redefines the entire pursuit. The ultimate truth is this: the entire dichotomy between being liked and being respected is an illusion, a phantom conflict born from a fragile ego. The highest form of influence transcends both. It is a state where your unwavering commitment to a truth beyond yourself becomes so magnetic, so authentically you, that it inspires a profound affection, not one of casual familiarity, but of deep, abiding admiration. This is not about being loved for your compliance, but revered for your essence. When you cease to need validation, you become incapable of being manipulated. When your inner stability is non-negotiable, your presence becomes a sanctuary for others, not a court where they must perform. This is the final paradigm shift. You are no longer seeking respect or love from the world. You are embodying the principle that commands both. You become like a mountain, respected for its immovable strength, yet loved for the serene, life-giving shadow it casts. The struggle ends not when you are chosen, but when you realize you were never meant to be a participant in the pageant. You are the standard. And in that silent, unshakable sovereignty, you find that the world does not just respect or like you. It has no choice but to listen when you speak and to remember long after you have left the room. If this final paradigm shift landed with the weight it should, ensure you don't miss what comes next. Subscribe. Your engagement shapes this channel. Share your own realizations below and let me know what you're taking away from this.